So, who is Trita Parsi?
You know, that's one of the toughest questions I've been asked. Who is Trita Parsi? It's a tough question to ask. Well, I'll give you the boring answer. I'm the president of the National Iranian American Council. It's the largest grassroots Iranian American organization in the country that is very active on Capitol Hill. Our job is to represent the interests of the Iranian American community, which means that on the issues that are most important to our community, whether it is to stop war with Iran or whether it is to make sure that human rights in Iran are being respected, or to make sure that the Persepolis tablets at Chicago University are not confiscated and sold off for auction, or if it is to make sure that discrimination against Iranian Americans here in the United States is prevented. That's what we do on a daily basis.
Okay. So, are you, because I believe you're also a professor, do you teach or I know you're academia?
Yes. I have a PhD in international relations from Johns Hopkins University. I worked extensively in foreign policy making, both U.S. Congress, the United Nations, for the Swedish government. And I did teach for a while at Johns Hopkins as an adjunct professor.
That's my other question. You're actually an Iranian Swede, right? You grew up in Sweden. Did your experience in Sweden help you at all with your experience here? Did you try to find a equivalent of NIAC back in Sweden, or how did it work there? How is the Iranian community in Sweden, I guess, if you have any experience?
It's a great community. I think it did help in many different ways. One of them was that I could see clearer the tremendous opportunities that exist in the United States, which don't exist in the same way in Sweden. So coming to America and seeing those opportunities obviously made me more aggressive and wanted to make sure that I could utilize them, because in Sweden we would not even have some of those opportunities. But it's a great community there. It's about 60,000 Iranians in Sweden, which is a relatively small country, so that's a huge community there.
Population is 6 million or
9 million.
9 million. Okay,
And the Iranians there have made their mark. I mean, they have some of the actors. One of their best pop singers right now is Lale, and of Iranian background. She sings both in Farsi, Swedish, and English, and she's truly talented. Just like in America, they have made their mark on that country.
Trita, there's a lot of controversy surrounding NIAC. A lot of people label it, a lot of people agree with it, a lot of people disagree with it. Why do you think that is? Why does NIAC get picked on? Why do people have all these questions?
Let me turn that question around, because you know that a lot of the accusations is that, oh, NIAC, and this is a standard accusation against almost any organization or community, that NIAC supports the Islamic Republic. Well, you both were here at our event today. You saw what we talked about, what we did. Was there the slightest thing in that accusation? So unfortunately, a lot of people are repeating accusations without looking into the facts and finding out for themselves. We have all our tax returns, for instance, on our website, right, PDF, so people can see where we're getting our money from and how we're spending it, etc. Transparency is tremendously important. It's a value that we hold very dearly. But reality is this: we are fighting in the political arena. When you stand for something, others will stand against you. If you don't like Obama, unfortunately, you can either go and fight him on his ideas, or you can spread a rumor saying that he's not really American, he wasn't born in this country. Or you can go and say that, you know what, he's actually a Muslim, and all of these different things. Right. And we stand for things. We stand for diplomacy. We don't want to see war. We want to see human rights in Iran be respected. We want to see that sanctions, U.S. sanctions on Iran that are hurting the Iranian people, be lifted. Now, trust me, there are elements in Washington, D.C. that want to see war. They want to see more sanctions and don't care at all about human rights. And the more effective we have become in fighting their agenda and advancing our own agenda, the more common will it be that a political organization will be attacked. It's just absolutely natural. And I think particularly after seeing how they have treated Obama and all the slander against him, we in our community should not be confused about why people are doing things like this anymore. But it's important that we also from NIAC make it as easy as possible to be able to find out about us. And part of that is I appreciate you doing this interview, so you give us an opportunity to talk about our organization.
Why do you think Iranian community in general is afraid of politics and has this sort of anti-political political theme. You know, they don't want to get involved with politics. They have, in Persian, we say siyasat zade. You know, they would prefer to stay away from politics, and it has worked against us in many ways here in States because we don't get involved. How do we fight that? How was it that you and your friends in NIAC got over that fact and, you know, got involved and started what you were doing?
Well, part of the reason why it was easy for us is we're from a different generation. We're not from the generation that got siyasi, did a revolution, and then deeply regret it because the outcome was not at all what they were hoping for. We're from a generation that grew up in the West. We have been taught democracy from the first day of school when we elect our class president, etc. So for us, it's been more of seeing how we are wasting opportunities to actually make sure that our community has a voice. And I'm very proud. Our community has come a very long time, taking big steps. 7, 8 years ago, we were talking about making sure that they understood the importance of voting and registering to vote. Today, you have Iranian Americans running for office, doing fundraisers for candidates, meeting with their members of Congress. So we've come a very, very long way. But we also have to remember, going back to your previous question, there are those that benefit from having the majority of Iranian Americans being afraid of being part of politics. Because if you're a small minority that already is there and you want to pretend you speak for the entire community, then you don't want to see the rest of the community get involved. Right. And what you do then is that you attack and you slander and you فوش میدن از این چیزا که مردم رو بترسونن که جرأت نکنن تو سیاست شرکت کنن، تو دموکراسی امریکا شرکت کنن. That's part of the reason why some groups are attacking NIAC. We're bringing new perspectives into the political market space and they don't want to see those perspectives.
One other criticism that people have to NIAC sometimes is that you guys pick and choose your battles. There are certain things that certain group might think it's important and it might not seem too important to you, and then there's some other things that some other people might not think it's important and it becomes important to NIAC and they go after it and they get the job done. How's the process of decision making on issues like that? Who gets to decide? How do you guys make decisions? I mean, of course, I'm sure it's very elaborate, but can you give us a little insight of how it works?
The fundamental thing there that I'm personally very proud of is that it's a democratic process. When we are deciding which issues and we're deciding what position to take, it's actually the vote of our membership. Now, there's some issues that are easier and they're non-controversial. Like, for instance, when we found out that there may be a risk that the Persian artifacts will be taken, we didn't have to go to our community to ask about it because it was rather clear that they were all very upset about it, so we went quickly at it. But when it comes to what should we do with Iran, should we be involved in that issue, should we be in favor of diplomacy, sanctions, etc., our job is that we go to our membership, we ask them, what do you think? And we go back to them to make sure that when things change, like when you had the brutal crackdown in Iran and the violations of human rights and the killings on the streets, a stolen election, we go back to our membership and we ask them, what do you want us to do? What are the positions? And we have them vote. And we will never be able to represent everyone because everyone will not necessarily agree. And that's a good thing. You have to have variety of opinions. But we do our utmost to represent the majority view. And there's always going to be issues that we may not be able to take on. And we cannot please everyone. But the reality is the more resources we have, the more issues we can take on.
Do you think Iranian community could be a next, Iranian American community, I should say, could be a next success story in America as far as, I mean, you look at, say, Jewish community about 80 years ago, 70 years ago, they were not really represented that well. But now they have one of the most powerful lobby. What's the roadmap for us? How can we get there? Or can we get there? What's your opinion?
I have no doubt in my mind that we can get to a situation in which we are masters of our own fate, in which any decision that is being made that is affecting us, our two countries, the future of our children, we will be able to have a significant impact on. There is nothing in this country that actually would prevent us. There's no law, there's no rule. It's all about to what extent are we willing to engage, participate, and put the money where our mouth is. It's really up to us. In this country, we have the freedom to either live up to our ideals or fail ourselves.
Again, this was Trita Parsi. Thank you so much for giving us an interview. I know you're very busy, and best of luck to you at NIAC.
Thank you, and thank you for everything Iranican is doing. Thank you so much.